Every generation produces extraordinary singers. Every era celebrates unforgettable voices. Yet only a handful of artists fundamentally change the way music is performed, recorded, interpreted, and remembered. Frank Sinatra was one of those rare figures. He was never simply a successful entertainer, nor merely one of America's greatest stars. He became a turning point in the history of popular music, redefining what it meant to be a vocalist and leaving a legacy that continues to shape artists around the world decades after his final performance. Before Sinatra emerged, popular singers often existed in the shadow of the orchestra. Big bands dominated the stage, while vocalists were frequently viewed as another instrument within a larger musical arrangement. Audiences admired orchestras, conductors, and instrumental virtuosity, but the singer rarely became the emotional center of the performance. Music was elegant and technically impressive, yet there remained an invisible distance between the performer and the listener. Frank Sinatra quietly changed that relationship forever. Born in Hoboken, New Jersey, in 1915, Sinatra grew up listening carefully to every singer he could find. Rather than relying on overwhelming vocal power, he became fascinated by expression. He studied the natural rhythm of speech, the emotional meaning hidden inside lyrics, and the delicate phrasing used by jazz musicians. Long before he became famous, he had already begun developing a style that felt remarkably personal. Instead of simply singing notes, he told stories. His breakthrough arrived during the golden age of the big band era, first with Harry James and later with Tommy Dorsey. Working beside one of history's greatest trombone players taught Sinatra one of the defining lessons of his career. He admired Dorsey's extraordinary breath control, capable of producing impossibly long musical phrases without interruption. Sinatra practiced relentlessly, learning to shape melodies with the same effortless flow. That approach would become one of the defining characteristics of modern vocal performance. At the same time, recording technology itself was evolving. Earlier singers had been forced to project their voices with tremendous volume to reach primitive recording equipment. Sinatra recognized that the microphone no longer had to be treated as a passive device. Instead, it could become an intimate musical partner. He moved closer to it, softened his voice, whispered emotional lines, and allowed subtle dynamics to replace theatrical projection. Audiences suddenly felt as though he was singing directly to them rather than performing from a distant stage. That innovation changed popular singing forever. Today, intimate microphone technique is considered completely natural. Countless singers across jazz, pop, rhythm and blues, soul, country, and adult contemporary music rely on the emotional closeness that Sinatra helped pioneer. His influence can still be heard whenever a vocalist chooses vulnerability over volume. Yet his greatest gift may have been something even more difficult to define. Musicians often speak about phrasing, the art of deciding exactly where a melody should breathe, pause, accelerate, or linger. Sinatra approached every lyric like an actor studying a dramatic script. Every sentence carried emotional purpose. Every pause felt intentional. Every word served the story. Rather than forcing himself to follow strict musical timing, he stretched and compressed phrases with remarkable elegance while always remaining perfectly connected to the orchestra beneath him. Jazz musicians immediately recognized what he was doing. Although Frank Sinatra was never considered a traditional jazz improviser, countless jazz legends admired his extraordinary phrasing. His performances possessed the freedom, spontaneity, and conversational flow normally associated with instrumental soloists. He transformed vocal interpretation into an expressive art form, inspiring generations of singers who understood that emotion often matters more than technical perfection. As the 1950s began, Sinatra entered what many historians consider the most influential period of his artistic life. His collaboration with arranger Nelson Riddle produced recordings that forever changed the relationship between singer and orchestra. Rather than treating orchestral accompaniment as simple background music, Riddle and Sinatra built complete emotional landscapes. Strings, brass, woodwinds, rhythm sections, and vocals became equal partners in storytelling. Together they demonstrated that an album could become something far greater than a collection of unrelated songs. Works such as In the Wee Small Hours, Songs for Swingin' Lovers, Where Are You?, Come Fly With Me, Only the Lonely, and many others introduced listeners to the modern concept album. Each record explored a unified emotional atmosphere, inviting audiences to experience an entire musical journey instead of isolated hit singles. Long before rock musicians popularized the album as an artistic statement, Sinatra had already shown the recording industry that carefully sequenced songs could tell a complete emotional story. That philosophy transformed popular music. Future generations of artists, from the Beatles and Elton John to Billy Joel, Michael Bublé, and countless others, would embrace the idea that albums could possess their own identity, mood, and narrative. Sinatra helped establish the album itself as an artistic medium. His mastery of swing represented another revolution. Swing had always been energetic, sophisticated, and rhythmically exciting, but Sinatra brought remarkable elegance to its interpretation. Rather than overpowering the orchestra, he danced effortlessly through its rhythms. Every entrance felt natural. Every syncopation appeared effortless. Every phrase seemed to float above the arrangement while remaining perfectly connected to it. His performances demonstrated that precision and relaxation could exist simultaneously, creating a style that musicians still study today. Beyond technical excellence, Sinatra understood something essential about communication. He never performed lyrics as isolated words. He performed human experiences: love, regret, loneliness, joy, hope, heartbreak, confidence. Every listener recognized pieces of their own life inside his performances. His voice became less about flawless singing and more about honest emotional storytelling. That authenticity explains why his recordings continue to resonate across generations and cultures. His influence extended far beyond recording studios. On stage, Sinatra transformed live performance into an exercise in elegance. Impeccably tailored suits, confident posture, relaxed humor, conversational interaction with audiences, and complete command of the stage created an image that countless performers would later emulate. He demonstrated that charisma could emerge through subtle confidence rather than theatrical excess. Every movement appeared effortless because every movement had been carefully refined. As technology advanced from monophonic recordings to high-fidelity and stereo production, Sinatra consistently embraced higher recording standards. His albums became reference points for engineers, producers, arrangers, and audiophiles seeking exceptional sound quality. Even today, many of his classic recordings remain celebrated not only for their musical brilliance but also for their remarkable production values. His influence spread across every continent. In Europe, audiences admired his sophistication and timeless elegance. In Japan, listeners celebrated his precision, discipline, and respect for musical craftsmanship. Throughout Latin America, his romantic interpretations crossed language barriers with remarkable ease. Across the world, musicians discovered that emotional honesty required no translation. Decades later, traces of Sinatra's artistry remain visible in countless performers. Michael Bublé's smooth orchestral style, Harry Connick Jr.'s jazz sophistication, Robbie Williams's classic swing performances, and many contemporary vocalists all reflect aspects of the artistic language Sinatra helped define. They are not imitating him, they are continuing a tradition he transformed forever. Awards, record sales, sold-out concerts, and commercial success explain only part of his achievement. His true legacy cannot be measured by statistics alone. It lives in the way singers approach a microphone. It lives in the way orchestras support a storyteller instead of merely accompanying a vocalist. It lives in the way producers design albums as complete emotional experiences. It lives in the belief that technical mastery must always serve genuine human emotion. More than half a century after the height of his career, Frank Sinatra remains a permanent reference point for vocal interpretation, musical storytelling, and artistic excellence. His recordings continue to educate aspiring singers, inspire arrangers, challenge recording engineers, and move audiences who may know little about the era in which they were created. History remembers many successful entertainers. Music remembers something much rarer. Frank Sinatra was not simply one of the greatest voices of the 20th century. He transformed the very language of popular singing. And in doing so, he secured an eternal place, not only in American culture, but in the history of world music itself.
One melody still breathing, one dream still growing, one heartbeat still alive. The microphone waits. The orchestra listens, the lights become softer, A single voice changes everything.